What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. I've got a 25-minute drive to pick up my daughter, so I thought I'd take the time to create some content and answer some common questions that I get from you guys. Now, if that sounds interesting, let's go. Sup to the channel, cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We got the free picks and the juice in the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me. Let's go. Hopefully that was clear for you guys. I don't know what the hell I'm doing recording from the car, but you got to try new things sometimes, try to make some more engaging content. So the first question I wanted to really go through, and I get this one all the time, it was more about building your bankroll. How do we do it? Because not everybody's in the same position that I am, where you can bet $100 for every single bet that you make, meaning I'll bet $1,000 or $2,000 every single day, and not everybody is there, and we all have to start somewhere. Firstly, for me, it never started that way. I've been sports betting since I was in high school, really. It used to be Friday afternoons. We have like rugby league, AFL, that's typically played from Friday to Sunday. My dad would pick me up from school. His friends would come over, then a whole gang of us would go to what we call a TAB, the tab. It's where people can go and place their bets. So we'd go in there, I'd be underage, but I'd put down a couple of bets just on the footy, and I had like $20 a week to spend. Fast forward a few years, I started working, making my own money, and then I was like a casual degenerate, just like everybody else. That $20 moved to $50, then it became $100 a bet, and it's not like I was winning so I could afford more. I was just working so I could afford more, but technically I was donating a lot of it, losing most of my money, but at the end of the day, it was all for a bit of fun. Every now and then you'd win $1,000 on a big multi or a parlay, but then the sports books started to send these monthly reports to let you know how much you're winning and losing, and I realized, shit, over the year I'm actually losing a lot of money. So then a few years ago, took it seriously, got into bankroll management units and all that type of stuff, and managed to turn it around. Extremely profitable now. I've won more than the amount I've lost over time, so things looking great. And I can bet $100 a bet. At one point I got up to $500 to $1,000 a unit, but that was way too stressful for me. But I'm happy with running at $100 units. It's not too much pressure, there's not too much volume, we good there. But the question is, how do you get to that point? So for a lot of people starting with a smaller bankroll, here's a couple of things that I asked you to consider, and if you're probably doing these already, well done to you. So the first thing I would say, and I say this to everybody I speak to about this topic, it's to maximize all the promos and deposit matches. So there's a lot of promotions out there, deposit matches, specifically for new users. So sports books are trying to get new people to join their app. Of course, it's a business at the end of the day. And what you want to do as the bettor is take advantage of these promotions. They do those promotions to suck you in. But if you go into these strategically, you can actually use promotions to really build your bankroll. So the first one is on deposit matches. Some places do 100% deposit match up to $250, up to $500, up to $1,000, whatever it may be. First you have to understand is, what is your bankroll? What are you willing to play with, right? So if you only have $500, I wouldn't go and waste the deposit match where the limit is $1,000, right? You want to maximize the amount of money that you put through. So if you only have $500 to play with, and there are two different books giving you deposit matches up to $250, I would then deposit my $500 into both of those books, so we're maximizing the return. What you've then done, you've put $500 into the books and you've got $1,000 back. So instantly you've already doubled your bankroll. So I would go ahead and do that. I wouldn't use all those deposit matches at the same time unless you have the bankroll to maximize all of those promotions. Therefore, you double your bankroll. So that's the first tip I'd encourage you guys to think about. The second thing to do is to really take advantage of promotions and offers. So with a lot of the DFS type apps, they give a lot of discounted lines, free squares even, and I would be looking to take advantage of those. So typically on these DFS apps, when you combine two players, on most apps you'll get 3x, right? And 3x is pretty good. The problem with those apps is that they force you to play two leg parlays, pretty much.
They want to encourage you to do that type of stuff. And naturally, we go from 2 and we think 3x is great, but 6x could be better. And then 12x could be better than that, 25x. And then suddenly you get stuck in a habit of doing 6-man lineups. The best thing that you could do if you're restricted to playing just these is to bet 2-man lineups, and trying to make sure in every 2-man lineup, at least one of those is a discounted square, a free square, or whatever it is, and just try to limit the volume of bets that you put down that don't have a promo. They're not going to kick you out of there because you're utilizing promos. That's what they're there for, to get new bettors. So if you're starting a new app, joining a new one, that's how I would tackle it. So then you're technically, because they've given you a free square, then you're technically straight betting and you're getting 3x odds, which, one, straight betting is it's the safest way to bet, really. It protects your bankroll. But 2, because you're getting a 3x, you're actually getting a lot much more than you would if you were typically straight betting on a traditional book. So I would get a free square and then my favorite straight bet of the day, and I would just run that. I wouldn't go and build 10 different entries trying to, turn your $100 into $1,000 in one day, because you're just over aggressive, and then suddenly you lose your edge. So I'd be just looking to get those promos down, get a number of books. If you're already part of a number of books, just check to see every morning which books have promos, find out what's a free square, what's a discounted square. Even if it's a discounted square that you don't think is a great bet, the fact that you're getting the standard odds for something that's probably cut in half makes it plus EV already. So I would play every discounted square, every free square, and then just pair them with your favorite straight picks of the day. So you should have, depending on the amount of books or apps that you subscribe to, you'd get 3 to 4 different bets down a day. You'd get 3x on all of them. Even if you hit your straight bets at 50%, meaning you only win half the time, you'll get 2 3x's as wins. And then therefore you'll be profitable. And if you do that consistently enough, that $1,000 or that $500 bankroll, double to $1,000 because of deposit matches, then you slowly win your bets every single day. That $1,000 could quickly become $1,500. Not quickly, but it can become $1,500, then $2,000. And then suddenly the amount of bankroll that you have will increase. Now, when you're starting with a $500 bankroll, you might have a $5 unit size. When you get your deposit match down and now you're dealing with $1,000, then you have a $10 unit size. And if you bet your $10 units and you manage to lift it up to $1,500 or $2,000, then you have a $20 unit size. And then you keep running the same strategy, because then you're hitting $20, you're hitting 3x every single time. You might only win 50% of it, but you're slowly going to be increasing your bankroll. And you can pretty much run that strategy until you get to the point where it doesn't work for you anymore. But realistically, that's the best way that I would play them. Now let's talk about if you don't have DFS apps and you are sports betting, which means you have the options of parlays, totals, spreads, and all this type of stuff. What strategy would I take then? Well, as boring as it sounds, the best thing you could do is to bet straight bets only. You bet spreads, totals, props. Whichever one you feel like you have an angle on and you have an edge, that is the only thing you do. Because if you're serious about building your bankroll, you wouldn't run any parlays whatsoever unless they're giving you a promotion. Like boosted odds, money back if you get one wrong. They would be the only times where I would run a parlay if my bankroll was small and I was serious about growing it. That's the strategy that I would take. For someone like me who, my bankroll that I started off with this NBA season, I started with $10,000, and it's not because I only had $10,000 to play with. I had a lot more to use, but I made the choice to say I'm only going to play with $10,000, and then we'll look to build it up from there. I'm in a position, well, bloody hell, I'm old as hell, right? I worked a full-time job for 14 years. I know how to manage my funds, but if I happen to lose that $10,000, I do have more money to bet if I wanted to, but also if I lost that $10,000, I'd probably quit anyway, because it means I'm doing something terribly wrong and I'm not good at it, right? So that's how you need to view your bankroll. The bankroll is the amount of money you set aside where if I was to lose this money, I would give it up for good. That's pretty much how I view my bankroll. Now, let's talk about unit sizes real quick. So the $5, $10, $20 example I just went through, that's based on a 1% of your total bankroll, which, to be honest, is quite conservative. And for people with larger bankrolls, 1% is the way that I would go every single time. If your bankroll is really small though, and you're doing traditional sports betting and you're running straight picks, so you're pretty much doing $5 and you'll win back $4, like that's a really slow burn. My advice, if your bankroll is small and you have access to a traditional sports book, is to bet straight bets, but then you'd also want to run your unit sizes at 2%. So if you have $500 to play with, the unit size there would be $10. So if you're betting $10, you get $9 back when you win. And if you can win it 55 to 60% of the time, meaning you know what you're doing when it comes to sports betting, then you will slowly build profit over time. And as much as it sucks to say this, like that's a very boring approach to sports betting. But you got to remember the goal here. The goal is to build your bankroll, to make sure you don't run out of money so you continue to bet forever. And unfortunately, that is the only way to do it. Now, you can just be aggressive and run parlays like a whole lot of people do. And unfortunately, I'd say for 1 out of 10 people, it actually works where they win or they're good at parlays and they build their bankroll a lot quicker. But for most people, the reality is if you do that, you are going to burn through your bankroll and you're going to have nothing left. Then you're going to be someone who's either just taking money out of their paycheck every week, doing the same type of bullshit, betting on these parlays, trying to get out of the hood, knowing that it's never going to happen. Like, that's the harsh reality for most people that we tend to ignore. And there's that 1 out of 10 who can make money betting parlays, and they've done it consistently, who try to speak for everybody by saying parlays are the best way to build your bankroll. The reality is, it's not. Like, parlays, you need to be good at straight betting in order to hit them. And for most people, they're not good at straight betting anyway. So why would you take the riskiest approach, the least likelihood to win? It doesn't make sense to me. But it does make sense to me. I get it. This is gambling. This is sports betting. We get sold a dream. There are all these dickheads on Instagram and Twitter flexing massive wins, massive stakes, lavish lifestyles. But the reality for most people, you're not going to get that through sports betting. So those are my tips on bankroll management. I'm trying to think through what's another common question that I get all the time that I can answer here, because I still have another 12 minutes before I hit my destination. And I'm feeling myself. I'm in a groove. I like this. I like creating content in cars. I'm going to have to do this every single day because it is a whole lot of fun to me. So what's another common question that I get? I guess another common question is like, how do you handle losing runs? How do you handle like that mindset shift, all that type of stuff? And I think now is a really perfect time to talk about it because the last few days on the NBA have been absolutely disgusting. There's blowouts everywhere, there's upsets happening. Like, it's been very difficult, specifically from a prop betting side of things, especially for someone like me who bets with volume. Volume meaning I will put more bets down than the average bettor. And the reason why I do that is because I want to win more money. Unfortunately, with more volume comes more risk. So when these days are all fucked up with blowouts and injuries and ejections and upsets, when I'm putting more volume down, unfortunately, I'm losing more money than most people. And that sucks. And it does take a toll on you mentally. So the question is, what do we do, or what do I do when I go through these losing runs? I think the first thing that I do, it all comes down to how I review and recap my bets. Like, I review the slate probably more thoroughly than I preview the following slate. Because if I can have a good understanding of exactly what has happened, why did this happen, why did this player score, why didn't this player score, where did the rebounds come from, where did the points come from, what do the rotations look like, just understanding what happened so I can go to bed at night knowing that some things are out of my control, and that's what happened there. Because in sports betting, maybe in life really, you can only control the things that you can control. At the end of the day, if you're going to cry about things that are out of your control, then you're going to be stuck there forever. That's a lot of tears. So I review my bets, and if you watch my YouTube videos, you'd see it. I spend 5 minutes at the top, good or bad, talking about my bets, whether it was a good bet, what happened, would I do it again? So reviewing your bets to have a good understanding of why you won and why you lost. Did you get unlucky? Were you lucky in some cases? Because if you can be honest with yourself and assess your bets, then you'll always be in control of what happens next. And control is a very powerful thing. When you feel like you're in control, your mindset's not going to swing. So I always do that. try to learn from the mistakes that I make and implement those in the future. The second thing that I do is really about balance, because when things are going bad and you're losing money betting, it can feel like your whole world is crumbling around you. It can be like really consuming in terms of where your mind goes. You can't stop thinking about the bets that lost, what happened, what could have been, right? And that's a terrible place to be in. So for me, another thing that I do is I just step away from betting altogether. Now, I would encourage you guys, if you're ever feeling this way, to just stop betting and take a day off. Like, yeah, you might want to get some money back the following day, but the reality is the sport's not going anywhere. You could always put a bet down the following day. My advice would be to just take a break, have a reset, and come back when you're feeling 100%, when you're not emotionally invested in outcomes, when you can think clearly and you make better decisions. But someone like me who creates content, who sells picks, taking a day off is not necessarily an option. We're going to get down and dirty every single day. So I try to fast track that. I've learned over the years that there are certain activities that I do that really cleanse my mind and make me feel great. So the first thing is for me, the first thing that I always try to do when things aren't feeling right is I just clean. Like, there's just something about cleaning. And I'm not a clean freak by any stretch of the imagination, but there's something about cleaning that really resets my mindset. Seeing the before and after of a messy house, messy kitchen, dishes, and then seeing what it looks and feels like when it's done makes me feel great. My favorite thing in the world to do in this scenario, honestly, is to wash my car. We go in and out. I detail it completely because I take pride and I feel proud when it's all done. And it's a great refresh. It's also very time consuming. You can spend 2 to 3 hours washing your car in and out, and it's not a waste of time either. Like, every time you step into that car, whilst it's clean, you're going to feel great about it. Right now, my car looks like shit. But the next opportunity that I get, I'm definitely going to be cleaning this thing. So that's one other thing that I do. And the other thing I do is I cook, especially barbecuing. Spending 2-3 hours nursing a fire, getting some food ready, that always makes me feel good. So it's just about a mental reset and then coming back into it with 100% focus, really. So you don't want to be overly invested. Like, there are telltale signs too. Like, there's a warning signal when you feel like you're on tilt. And a lot of the time we realize it when it's too late. We're already on tilt. We've already started to chase losses, all that type of bullshit. But you got to know yourself. Like, what are the signs that you're starting to feel it? And for me, when I start, one sign is, because I'm in a Discord, is when I start saying terrible things about myself and my skills, and I do it as a joke, but when I start saying shit like that, it's a clear warning for me that my mindset's not right. Like, I'll go out there and start saying that I'm the worst bettor that's here, that I can't pick anything right. And pretty much playing the victim, right? When I start saying shit like that, that's a warning sign for me that I need a reset. For some people out there, you can tell they're on tilt because the game will be 4 quarters in, and you'll be like, my player doesn't have a rebound yet. Trae Young doesn't have an assist yet. Mark Williams doesn't have a rebound. Like, he hasn't scored. Like, whatever it is, like, there are warning signs for every type of bettor. You just have to understand what are the warning signs that you have that let you know that you're not in the right place to be betting. And once you identify those things, you don't put any bets down until you don't feel that way anymore. So it really takes a lot of discipline, accountability, some self-awareness, all those types of things. And if you speak to enough people who have been through that, they can steer you in the right direction as well. You can always join my Discord, and as much as there is banter and funny things said and a lot of people mucking around, and when it gets serious and people are struggling through the mindset of sports betting and not knowing what to do, like, everybody can really whip you in line real quick. So I guess those are the main 2 things that really come to mind in terms of things I get asked all the time. How do you grow your bankroll? Which is pretty important, because a lot of people never grow their bankroll. They just bet every single week with the income they make. So hopefully that was helpful. And then obviously the stuff around mindset, it happens to everybody. The best bettors I know go through the ups and downs. Like, nobody's immune to it. So once you have some strategies in place to get around it, then you'll know that everything's okay. Like, right now, the last 2 days have been dreadful, right? I've been getting absolutely smoked. And if I wasn't in the right mindset, all I would be thinking about is how bad it is, how hard it is, how unpredictable it is, how I can't trust anyone, how I can't trust my research. The numbers are lying to me. Why is it so difficult for me only? Like, all this victim type of bullshit. And then I would start getting, like, risky. Like, I'm already risky as it is, but then I'd be not following my own strategy in attempts to try to chase that money back. But I'm not doing that. I'm sticking true to my strategy. I'm still doing the same type of research, still like doing the same things in terms of bankroll management. We're just rolling with the punches here, because there are great days and there are bad days, especially when you're betting on sports in the NBA. And on a good day with the same strategy, we'll absolutely kill it. Unfortunately, times are tough right now, but they're not going to last forever. And that's like all struggles. They're never going to last forever. You just need to be strong in the mind to keep pushing through. But if you're not, the first thing I'd always encourage anybody is to just step away from betting. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not doing you any favors. It is not helping you. The sports betting element was supposed to be fun, make the games more entertaining, and if you're really good at it, it can earn you more money on the side. And I think it's really important to understand why you bet. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I'm always at my destination. I do hope you liked the content, so subscribe to the channel if you did. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. Let's push this thing out into the world of the algorithm and get me some more views so we can grow this thing. If you guys love it, I'll make more content from the car as well. You can put some other questions, topics that you'd like me to go over as I'm just freestyling as I drive through Sydney traffic. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. I appreciate you. Peace.